Thank you for staying with us. Yes, we're going to be talking waste management in Lagos State. Lagos State has an estimated population of 24 million. Yes.
Whoa.
That's what I said. 24 million. And
one
guess
family.
What? It grows every day. So you can imagine the volume of waste that is generated by 24 million people.
Whoa.
Well, over the years, Lagos State has changed from one system to the other. It's trying out all kinds of systems to try and make sure that the city is not the dirtiest city in the world, which it was tagged some years ago. It was tagged the dirtiest capital city in the world. Maybe we are shedding that appellation right now, but we have the managing director of the Lagos Waste Management Authority, Lawma, with us in the studio. It's my pleasure to welcome Ibrahim Odumboni.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, ma.
Thank
Good
you
morning,
for
sir.
joining us.
Thank you.
Maybe I should begin by asking you, how easy is your job?
You.
Very interesting.
You look very young to be in that seat, so you must have the solutions. That's why you're there.
I think it goes back to what you said, that Lagos is trying different things. So I'm one of the triers, and I think it's working well for Lagos.
Okay.
So what did you bring to the table?
So for myself, I bring a lot of knowledge, business acumen, seeing things in terms of sustainability, more about innovation, and thinking ahead for the future. Okay. So, you know, I connect with the generation, each of the generation, either the older generation or the middle generation.
Generation
Y
next.
as well, Y, X, and Z. So it's most important now. Like you said, waste management in Lagos is an enormous task. The population continues to increase, and we estimate that an average person in Lagos, we do a minimum of 0.69 kg of waste per day. So that comes about with that number, and that's why we say we're about 13,000 metric tons on a daily basis as a BRS minimum, and the challenges continue to grow. But for us, a day is never the same. So today is different from tomorrow, and every hour is different.
I jocularly asked you before we came on air, anything for the boys? I do that all the time. And you said waste for the boys. So let's just be clear about that one.
There's waste to wealth, so if I take give you waste,
he might give you some waste to make
I don't
some
want
wealth.
waste.
You can make
give me the
wealth
wealth
out
the
of
waste.
it.
No,
you have to create the
who
wealth
are you
yourself.
for here, Alero?
Well,
don't answer that question yet. Don't answer the question yet, because I don't know whether you are about to cross carpet into another political party right now.
No chance. No chance.
But so,
I'm right here.
I wanted to ask you, perhaps the challenge of dealing with it. On the one hand, it is a problem. On the other hand, it is an opportunity. Okay, so if you say waste for the boys, and it's supposed to be wealth, try to give perspective as to how people can own the process so that they also can join in the efforts to help your job. Because
and
unless
to create wealth out
exactly,
of it.
Unless that perspective is known, I think the problem is there.
I think it goes back to the initial question you asked, what do I bring to the business? So I'm an investment banker by trade, coming into waste. So for me,
investment banker.
Yeah. So
when it came to invest wastefully,
with that, what that gives you is a wealth of knowledge where you can actually turn anything to value creation. So one of the support that we've got in terms of creating waste to wealth and value from waste is, if you could remember very well, on the 5th of September 2019, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu launched the Blue Box Initiative, which has now evolved into what we call Lagos Recycle. So before that time, recycling in Lagos was pretty much very informal. But now it's quite formal, and we have between about 6,000 plus youths gainfully employed, both formally and informally in that sector. And the volume of our recyclers have gone from 2 to 57 as we speak. And that number is growing. And what that does is the off-takers that we have in the recycling business, We used to have 1 or 2. Now we have a couple more, maybe like 12 now. And that's creating value in there. When you see a whole truck full of waste, 25% of what that truck carries is recyclable. And that 25% can be used to make majority of the things that we have in our midst now. The chair I'm sitting on is made of a lot of plastic. There's a lot of plastic that is used to produce this. But previously, that's dumped somewhere and nobody cares about it. Yeah. But now, somebody collects it. The process of collecting it is money for the person collecting it. The process of processing it is money for the person processing it. And the process of turning it into value or something that you can reuse is money for the industry as well. So that's why we refer it to waste to wealth. And it's one part of the business that for me is canvas. It's something that's not been done before. So as we continue to see a development, different things will come into play and different players will come. So people are encouraged more to invest. You don't really need millions to start the business. You can invest by advocate. It could be through advocacy. It could be through collection. I'll give you an example. We have a lady who collects plastic in Ijora side, and she collects within our community. So you take your plastic to her, she gives you like maybe like a, what do you call, Congo, like a scoop of rice, and maybe gari or whatever. And over time, she's done that. She's bought a couple of lands at Ikorodu now. Now she's building a collection center and then she has land that she's building her own private residence just by collecting plastic. So it's only like that, it's value.
You say that the number of recyclers has increased to 57
plus.
Okay. Now, what do these recyclers collect to recycle?
So they collect things like plastic, glass, tin.
What do they make
clothes.
them into?
Also, they make them into, so for example, plastic can be made into different things. So the cushion inside this is made of plastic. Some part of this is polyester, is made into plastic as well. Some t-shirts are made into plastic as well. Some of these are made into plastic shares, they're made into casing for your phone, they're made into different things. So they make them, plastic is something that even if put under intense temperature, it could show under what we call paralysis, it could turn into something like fuel, refuse-derived fuel. Something that can be used to replace things like diesel or kerosene and coke.
Okay.
So there's a lot of things you can get by breaking it down.
Now, help me understand something. You talked about advocacy earlier.
Yeah.
And the way people disperse or waste is troubling. There are some things I, as a person, cannot take. I can't stand it, but unfortunately, I'm powerless. You're driving on the road, and you see an individual in an air-conditioned vehicle, fully tinted, rolls down the glass and throws out garbage on the roads. That is definitely going to earn us the dirtiest city or one of the dirtiest cities within the shortest possible time. And that trend doesn't seem to be abating, and it seems we are doing nothing about it. Is that something Lawma is looking at?
So for us, I'm quite confident that this current administration will see a change to that, because what we've done a lot of bottom-up approach to revamping of waste by looking at what do we need. In waste collection, there are different modes. You have the generation of waste, you have the separation of waste, you have the collection, you have the disposal
come to the
and
selection,
treatment.
but is that disposal
so
the way people do it?
For the advocacy side, in terms of promoting and letting people do the right behavior, we've gone a lot step further. We've done a lot of advocacy in markets, in public spaces. Then we now observe that, okay, what do we do? Let's go bottom up. So we've gone to primary school. Through what we created, I founded what we call Lawma Academy, which is like, because what I discovered is when I came into Lawma, you need to have a lot of archive, you need to have an academy, you have to have a lot of practical knowledge. And in the early days for myself, there was nowhere to run to actually get it, apart from myths, when people tell you, this happens, this happens, this happens. So we now created a school, like a mini academy, where people can go in. So we archive where knowledge, practical, University of Lagos, various universities partners with us. And what we've done now is we've partnered with SUBEB, that's Lagos State Primary School Board, to make sure that by the time these kids go, the public schools go back to school this September, they will have primary school will have waste management incorporated in their curriculum. Because what we believe is once you catch them young, it will continue to grow, and they will help us influence the adults as well. Because on the other side, if you look at the enforcement, advocacy goes with enforcement. You need to let somebody know something is a crime before you start enforcing.
Who doesn't know it's a crime to throw garbage out on the streets?
Is a human behavior just become a part and parcel of some of our people? So you still have to give them you have to take them to a correction system. And what we do in doing that is we continue to advocate. For example, we go to radio stations, we go to public market, we have an advocacy team that is always out there going around the 377 wards that we have in Lagos to talk to people. Then also we have the law. We have the law of the state that says you can't burn refuse openly. You almost have a bin.
My apologies, Mr. Ruboni. Talk to us about that enforcement.
Yes.
Because I remember, and I hate to make this reference, but Alera would also remember, you may as well, between 1983 and 1985, there was a government in power that initiated what they call war against indiscipline.
Yes.
The government of Lagos State tried to restart it with kick against indiscipline. One of the core elements of those policies was waste disposal by our people. But unfortunately, enforcement, which was strong in the 80s and strong during when Kai was initiated, has completely, gone to the winds, so to speak.
Yeah.
So who is supposed to champion this enforcement, and how is it being done? And when are they going to start?
Okay, so I'll tell you that it's already started, and we've seen the rejuvenation of Kai. So Kai used to exist, and they do a very good job. So now the administration of Gomawadi Sanwo-Olu, through the Ministry of Environment led by Mr. Tunji Bello, have revamped Kai. So we have Kai back. But now they are being given the right tools. So last week, this week, when we're launching commissioning our truck, the governor also launched what we call the City Monitor app. The City Monitor app can be downloaded on Google Play Store, on Apple Store as well, for any residents of Lagos.
City
Monitor app.
Okay.
So you can use it to report any infractions. So for Kai, they are everywhere in Lagos. But at the same time, we are working with the Ministry of Science and Tech and Transport, while they have cameras all across, to be able to pick up people that are doing all these infractions. But it's very important that everybody collectively contributes to the way we manage our environment, because with the environment, it's what we throw at it that it throws back at us.
Mr. Duboni,
yes.
I am sorry to say that you have not been campaigning your City
Monitor app. That was launched on Wednesday.
It's just been launched.
Yes,
okay,
so you need to campaign it. So
because
going to be.
If the guy that Ayo was talking about, who's winding his window down and throwing trash onto the road, if he knows that Ayo has the app and can video him and send it to you, I'm sure he will not be doing that.
Definitely.
And then for the safety of your street sweepers as well, because sometimes I see the way Lagos drivers drive, and I am worried for those women who are sweeping the streets.
Sincerely.
And I know that you have lost a number of them from people driving carelessly. If we didn't throw so much trash on the roads, you wouldn't need so many sweepers. So if you campaigned this thing adequately,
it will help.
And everyone knew about it, because it is, I'm going to throw it because I know that nothing is going to happen to me. Somebody's going to sweep it by tomorrow morning. But if we all know that we're all the other man is watching you, you're being monitored, and you can be reported, and you can be disciplined, fined, put in jail for 1 week or whatever for that little crime, then I'm sure that
the people will deter
it's going to work. So how much campaigning do you plan? This was only launched on Wednesday, so it's still early doors. What kind of campaign have you planned for?
I think what we have planned for the City Monitor app is kind of huge, in the sense that we're going to go to do a lot of community advocacy around it. There'll be a lot of media. There will be a lot of radio jingles about it going on as well. And for all the, from all the Lawma formation, Ministry of Environment formation, we have various agencies under the ministry. We're all going to go all out there to promote it. And like the governor said, it's something that will take us to the next level. Another thing that it will help us, support us do is, we have seen a lot of waste migration. People coming from outside Lagos, from the crannies of Lagos, bringing their waste to the highways. All those things will be dealt with as well. So for us, the City Monitor app, we call it a monitor app, is for people to be able to help us be better, be more proactive, but at the same time, be all of us that take responsibility to ensure that we have a consistently cleaner Lagos.
Okay, we have found the City Monitor, and it says, see it now, report it now. Help fellow citizens stay safe by reporting infractions around you in seconds. And it says next. I'm going to punch next and see what happens.
Well, that one, while that one is happening, City in the app, by the way, just to be clear, is C-I-T-I.
Yes.
Not C-I-T-Y. Because the C-I-T-Y is in somewhere in Germany?
Yeah.
that needs to be said.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, so take us through, unfortunately we can't put it on the screen for now, but take us through how people can report with the City Monitor app.
So with the City Monitor app, once you've downloaded it, you can actually register yourself as a first-time user on it. So it's GPS tagged as well. So if you are taking any picture, the location is automatically saved in there. And then you can actually select which local government it relates to. If you don't know that, the GPS yourself will pick it up. And then you can put comments in there. There's also a side that you can say you want to be anonymous, so that when it's being reported back at the back end, your name and number is not showing. But there are times where you don't want to be anonymous. You want to be able to be there to see the process through. And then what will happen is it goes to the back end. Whoever is administrating at the back end distributes it to the right agency. So in the end, this will be able to, various agencies, doesn't necessarily mean environment alone will be able to use it. So it reports and it is shared. Then when the job is completed, it marks as completed, ongoing, or in progress. And you'll be able to get feedback individually for every infraction you record.
I noticed from...
Well, Ayo has registered.
From just registering, I noticed that it's also collecting my data.
Yeah, so there's a security behind it that just takes it, apart from you being able to access it, it doesn't get, that side has been looked at.
Good morning, J. Ayo. Think green, think clean, think Lagos.
You're the one wearing green. I'm wearing brown.
Well, that's what your welcome message says. Your welcome message on City Monitor.
Is there a particular website that people can get, you know, the...
So these City Monitor app will be available on Lagos State official website. Will be available on Lawma website, on all the agencies on the Ministry of Environment website. But as we go along, it will be available on all Lagos agencies website that people can use.
Okay.
Now, I have seen it, just a second, Alero. I have seen it in an iOS device.
Yes.
Is it also...
it's on Play Store.
It's on Play Store as well, the Google, you know, so people can go look for it then. I'm very happy to report so many people, but go ahead.
Okay. On during the week, the governor launched some trucks.
Yes.
What is the position of your PSP collaboration? And are those trucks are they going to go to PSPs, or they'll be operated by Lawma itself?
So on Wednesday, our governor, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, launched 102 waste collection trucks and 100 double dyno bins. So the double dyno bins are big receptacles for waste. They're about 16 cubic meters in capacity, and they are good for market, public places, public gathering, or areas with loads of human activity. So we need that across the state. We currently have over 100, but plus that 100, it actually encourages and speeds up the work we do. It's more like a static compactor, where the compactor is a moving one. You can take it straight away, but with a double dyno bin, you can go back there and pick it up anytime at a scheduled time once it's full and move it to the dump site. But with what we have, which is the 102 trucks, is completely for the operations of Lawma. So Lawma, as a regulator, is also tasked with the responsibility of public spaces. So when you enter Lagos, starts from the entrance into Lagos, all you see until you go to residential area or commercial places is Lawma's responsibility. So this does not in any way stop our PSP jobs. So the PSP
because your PSPs, they have to be paid for their services.
They have to be paid for their services by tenements and businesses that they are servicing.
Yes.
So it doesn't stop what they're doing. So if you go back to what I said, everyone needs to play their part. The PSPs are playing a vital part. They've held the states for a very long time. If you could remember very well, something like this was last done in 2008 when Governor Fashola gave 100 trucks to Lawma as well. And because of the policy somersaults that we had in 2015 with the aftermath of Vision's Cape and Co. So it's easy to actually destroy, but it's hard to rebuild. But one thing I would say is one step at a time, and we are moving ahead. But one thing that this administration of Governor Babajide is doing is not just building. It's not just rushing to build back. You can rush to build back and buy used compactors. You can rush to build back and buy compactors that are not useful for this terrain.
But these are brand new.
So these are brand new. Designed in Lawma by our engineers. Fabricated in Lagos, assembled in Lagos, in Oba Akran, in Lagos. So any of our technicians can actually put these trucks apart. If there's any trouble shoot on the truck, we can resolve it. And for sustainability as well, there's a 3 years part warranty agreement with it. So within 3 years, if anything, apart from tire, diesel, and battery, if anything happens to it, the manufacturer will go ahead and let the warranty take effect.
The manufacturer in Lagos?
In Lagos, which is Dangote Sino trucks. So it's very important that we promote local content. And even those bins, they were made in our yard in Lawma by our technician, getting more welders across the city, creating more jobs. This truck assembling promoted about 450 new jobs as Mr. Dangote's facility in
I also see that there is a website for the app, City Monitor. These are the new compactor trucks. Wow.
Yes. So that's a double dyno. And then we have the hook loader to pick them up. And then we have the big mammoth garbage trucks. So we have the big one, which is 24 CBM, that's 60 of them. And then we have the 12 CBM, which is the smaller one, which is 30 of them, and 12 hook loaders to carry the bins.
Do your incinerators still work? The one at Ilubiri?
Ilubiri, we currently don't have an operating incineration system. What we have at Ilubiri is a transfer loading station. So it's pretty much like a stopgap. So in times of...
Is it still in use?
It's still in use. Very much
what do you use it for?
Oshodi, Agege. So we have 5 dump sites in Lagos.
Okay.
Sometimes with the challenge of traffic, with rain and other things, it could be that there's a queue or there's a delay in getting to the dump site. It goes to that depot. You tip them. In the evening, we pack them through our big trucks, our lorries, and then we take them to the dump site. Because the turnaround time of cleaning Lagos is very essential that we move as quickly as we can. So it's more like a stopgap, pretty much like a depot. So instead of you going to an NPC to fuel up, you go to a petrol station and fuel up, and then that's it. That's exactly what it is. But in the future, what we've now started doing there is to separate the waste. So whatever is being brought there, we have allocated recyclers at the TLS. Once the waste is tipped, they will remove as much recyclables as they can remove: plastic, tin, can, iron, clothes, used material. They will remove that. And then what we've discovered is, by the time they remove that, only about 60% is left over from what we are taking to the dump site. And that's what we want to encourage. We want to intercept the separation from home. And that's why we bought Lagos Recycle. That's why we have a hub called Pakam, where Pakam is like an Uber. That's completely for waste.
Please spell.
Pakam. It's completely for waste alone. So if you have waste recyclables in your house, that is a bag full, all you need to do is request collection like Uber. The nearest recycler will contact you and they will come and pick it up from you. Pakam.
Come Pakam.
Come
Yeah,
Pakam.
come and Pakam. So once they collect it from you, you will automatically be entered into a raffle. We do monthly raffle where we give 100 winners 10,000 naira cash prize each for using the app.
Okay.
So it's something that we continue to promote, and then we want to kind of spread it across the.
You need to tell us more about that.
Yes, we do.
What kind of stuff can we call Pakam to come and pick up?
Yeah, so we have. You can do bottles, glass,
plastic,
aluminium, tin, iron, used clothes, used shoes. Because there's a lot of it's big recycling for used clothes.
Did you see someone look at you?
Have a lot?
Did you see someone look at you with one eye? With one eye. About the...
You need Pakam. You need a lot of Pakam. Maybe like 20 trips.
Okay. Well, you know, so, Charlie, just a quick one because we're running out of time. Very, very quickly. The smell.
Yes.
When they come from Ojota, not be small thing. I'm sure you can relate with that thing, and that's definitely not the only place in the city of Lagos, and you have had complaints about that one. How are you getting ahead of it?
So currently, if you drive through the dump site at Ojota, you will notice that we are capping it. So part of the necessary things to do for the engineering the dump site. You remember when Governor Abdulaziz Sanwo-Olu first came in, the first place he visited was Ojota landfill, and that place was in a bad state. So currently, we then instigated that we have to repair all the 5 dump sites that we have. We had 16. So we repaired 5, we decommissioned 1 after repairing it, which is the Abule Egba one. So if you go to Olushosu now, you will see that the roads, the inner roads in there, are now being stabilized. We now have a minimum of 4 platforms effectively, actively working. We have effective 6 platforms, but we use 4, and then we reserve 2. Also, what you continue to see now is when you drive past, you see lots of laterites being poured on the dump sites to cap it, to cover it, so that it can start to regenerate. It can protect the smell, so there's no smell coming out because the laterite is covering it. Then also, we started using deodorizer, where we basically switch the machine on, moving across, and then we do fumigation of the dump site every month as well to mitigate as you know, raining season, when it rains, it washes some of it, then we have to do it, instead of it doing once a month, in raining season, we do it twice a month. Okay. So there's a lot of things going on. But once the capping is done, it will reduce the amounts of smell that you get there by a tremendous percentage.
Okay. Just a quick one. You will talk us through this Pakam and City Monitor one more time. Wow. Very, very quickly.
So you're just doing the wealth side of it?
No, not just that. See, it's disgusting when people who are supposed to know are the ones who litter the place. So talk us through how people can use that app one more time. By the way, it's not on the Google Play Store yet, but I see there is a citymonitor.com website. And it's for that same.
The City Monitor is on the Google Play Store, so we'll try and make sure we publicize
just now.
that.
I haven't seen it. Talk us through it again. That's the website. That's the City Monitor.
Yeah, that's the City Monitor website. So for the City Monitor, you need to go onto your phone. When you download it, you can either register by setting up a new profile. You can register through your Facebook. You can register through your phone or your Google Play. That's why you probably got your name straight away. Because once you put it, you transfer some of the details, and then you can make a start. The same thing with Pakam. Pakam app, you can do the same thing. You can download it from iOS Store or from Google Play as well. Okay. But with that, you register your detail, and every time you need a pickup, you have to specify where you need it to be picked up. And the reason why that is different is because sometimes people move recyclable. You might want to move recyclable in your office. You might want to do the one in your home, but the nearest recycler will come to you. They will weigh it, and then they will tell you where exactly it's going into.
And they will tell me how much I'm going to pay.
They don't pay anything.
No,
it's
how
free.
much they're going to pay you?
Completely free.
Oh, no. They enter you for a raffle.
No, let's that be clear. So I can get waste collected in my house
for free.
For free.
You don't have to pay.
Recyclable waste. Not your bones and your leftover amala.
Thank you. We'll
get to the organic waste very soon, but recyclable waste. Because even organic waste, we put it to use. We have an Odogunyo facility that the governor has given us funds to bring back to life. We make fertilizers, about 500 on a daily basis.
Wow. Very enlightening. The Managing Director, Lagos Waste Management Authority, Mr. Ibrahim Odumboni.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming. We must bring you back here to come and tell us more about all, because this has been very, very enlightening. And I hope that you viewers got enough, as much as we got from talking to the managing director
Are
this
you more
morning.
interested in the wealth part? Okay, just go.
Waste to wealth. Yeah, he did speak about that. Thank you very much
You're
for coming,
welcome,
Mr.
Thank you,
Odumboni.
Anytime.
Sunrise will be right back with the home stretch in just a moment. Stay with us.